Hi everyone, this is Lynissa Hayes with Makers Avenue, and today I'm doing something that I rarely ever do. I think this actually may be my first time on this channel. I am doing a sketchbook tour. Yes, I actually completed a sketchbook. Now, also I'm going to be talking about Sketchbook Revival, which I got a chance to participate in, so I'll tell you a little bit more about what that is and like kind of building up your own sketchbook practice. I'm going to admit, I don't always feel like I'm the best person at keeping a sketchbook. Even when I was in college, I was an art major, but I was still terrible about keeping up a sketchbook constantly. And I think that's because my mind kind of drifts into other creative things. So usually I get like lots of different sketchbooks and then I'll start on some, but I don't finish it. I just do a lot of other creative projects. And so my sketching sketchbooks sometimes take a back burner. But you know what? If you're that type of artist, that's okay. I feel like I'm that type of artist where I'm not as consistent with my sketchbooks. But when I do love them. I do like having them there. I do like a place to experiment. So when I am in the mood, when I do play with them, yeah, they're a great place to experiment and to play. And I'm always trying to do things to help me get through my, my aversion to keeping a sketchbook. So I'm going to show you two types of sketchbooks today. Try not to be too long. This is a Fabriano Eco Qua it's like sketch journal. It was very cheap. It's like $5 or less. You can get them at the art stores. It's meant for like ink and pencils. Of course, I like to push my limits on sketchbooks, see what they could take. And then this is my main one that I'm going to show today. This is the Handbook Journal Co. watercolor sketchbook. I really like watercolor sketchbooks because you can work with a lot of different mediums with it. So I really enjoy using this one, and I got another one of these that I've already started on. So let's jump in, shall we? So yeah, I really like the quality of this watercolor paper. And they always say sketchbooks are meant, okay. Sketchbooks are a place for you to experiment. They're not really a place for finished artwork. That's true, but people always say that seem like they have like great finished artwork. For me, I kind of use it as a place. Sometimes all I get done is just swatching or a place to swatch paints. And then sometimes I do have I'm trying to make patterns, or I'm just playing with watercolors. So some things turned out really abstract. So, and then sometimes I'm just playing with florals. So it can be anything. Now the first page, I always end up skipping the first page because I'm not good with the first page, so I just end up skipping it. It's just a mental thing. And so I was playing with my new watercolor palette that I set up. I love these colors, and I was just creating little squiggly patterns and trying to allow the watercolors to blend in. Let's see. All right, so that's my first page. And like I said, I use this one a lot to swatch color. So there's a lot of pages that are just swatches, and then me creating patterns from that swatch. I buy a lot of digital art classes. And so I start off, I think these were some exercises from some of those classes, but I never finished watching them. So that's another thing I need to work on. I think if I actually watched the art classes and finish the exercises, I would have loads of sketchbooks that are filled up. This page, I was playing with Tim Holtz Distress Paint, and I was supposed to go back and actually add something on top. I never did, but yeah, if this is what his paint looks like, if you can play with distress. I never really use them as distress paints that often. I always just use them as paints when I use them. Here's another swatch page of some Jane Davenport layer cakes. I'm kind of go through these quickly. Another swatch page, and then sometimes when I'm doing swatches, I like to add like other stationery collages. So here's what I mean. Sometimes I'll just start swatching, and then I'll be in the mood to, okay, let's do some abstract. I didn't really finish this one, but this is, these are some of my favorite watercolor. These are handmade. I can't remember right now. Leave me a comment if you would be interested in me going over some of my favorite watercolor palettes, because I have a lot. But yeah, so that was an abstract watercolor that I started. I do love how it looks. I just never finished it. And here I am swatching some Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle colors, along with some graphite and some handmade watercoloring colors from her billowing art, which she always has like such pretty palettes. So, and then I think this is just like a mixture of several different palettes that I have. Again, swatches. So a lot of my first pages are just swatches. And that's a great way to fill up a sketchbook. You know, that is a legitimate way to fill up a sketchbook. So this page was experimenting with some of my fave colors and supplies. There's a lot of texture on this page. Like this is actually embossing powder. And I was testing using a glue stick as a way to just pour on embossing powder, and it worked. And then this paint, I forgot what color it's called, but I love this color paint. And then I have some Tim Holtz sprays in the background with some pencils. So I really do love these, like a little abstract watercolor mixed media kind of drawings. So love these. This page was, again, I was supposed to do something with it, and I did the background and then never came back to it. So that's another thing. Sometimes I just start on backgrounds, and again, that's still okay. But I do kind of like the way this background looks. There's like napkins and stencils and sprays. Some of the sprays I didn't like, so I went over it like with gesso and a lot of white paint. So this kind of informs me sometimes of when I want to try a different background. You'll kind of see later on. So these were some swatches of watercolors that I tried to make, and these are some that are made by Her Billowing Heart. Her channel's name is different, and I can't remember what it is right now. But yes, she has such beautiful watercolor palettes. Let me see. I'll show you one real quick. They're just so beautiful. Like, it's so pretty. Okay, so here's one of her palettes that I have. I have several of her watercolor. And it came with this lovely like mahogany palette and this ribbon. So yeah, I really love her shop whenever she does release palettes. So yeah, I was swatching those out. She has a beautiful channel. If you love watercolor and just mixed media, she has a very beautiful channel. I don't paint like her, but I do love her. I love her limited stuff that she comes out with. Here I'm just testing some watercolor markers. These are some watercolors from Ocean Paper and some from Julia K Art Studio. So, and here we go. Can't remember. I think this is just a mixture of some colors that I like. I think some of these are Ocean Papers. So when I'm like curating a palette, like I take different colors from different people and then put them in different tins, and sometimes I'll change them out. And so of course I'll swatch it on the page to see what they all look like together and to see if that's like the color harmony that I want. So but again, this sketchbook isn't all color swatches. So here I was, now remember this one, I was practicing some watercolor florals, not finished. This one I was practicing a new technique. So Wanderlust, someone was showing us how to use, and I thought it was such a genius idea. So I like pastels, but I don't like using them too much in sketchbooks because it gets all powdery. It transfers all over the place. And so in the lesson, they taught us how to use pastels in a way that doesn't transfer, and I thought it was genius. So that's what this is. And like I said, this is pastel, but it's not transferring. I can't remember the technique right now. Here, I like this one. This is another abstract watercolor, and I love this gold one. Here I was trying to, I feel like this is unfinished, so I don't like it right now. I was using sewing patterns, and so, yeah, I'm not feeling the composition. So, but I never did, feel like going back to finish it. Let's see. This was a color palette inspired by Laura Horn. I was trying to see if I like these colors together. I wasn't really, and that's another thing that sketchbooks are good for. If you have a favorite artist and then they tell you what colors you like, you're like, oh, you might like their work. And so sometimes I like other people's work, and then I try to see what colors they use. But once I put the colors down, I may not feel the same way about it. So this was her color palette that she liked, and once I put it down, I wasn't feeling these colors. It works in her art, and I'm not saying it wouldn't work in my art or that I wouldn't use it, but just these colors together, I wasn't really feeling it. So, but again, that's things that you would put in your sketchbook that kind of helps you, shape what you want to do or what you want to use. On this side, I was just doing some floral loose abstract floral practice. Again, this is one of my favorite, this green kind of gold watercolor is one of my favorites. These are some Jane Davenport gesso colors. Here I was trying out a new watercolor palette. I, again, didn't finish. And I was trying some new things. So now we're getting to actual more sketches. Sometimes I have to, swatch enough in the sketchbook to really start getting the hang of it. I really like this one, even though it's very soft and muted. And I don't feel like I'm a very soft muted kind of. I like soft and muted colors, but I like contrast in my work, so I couldn't just do this. But this was fun to do. And there's a little butterfly, but I couldn't just do this. It's too soft and muted. I like color. And then for me, this side is too much. So I like the looseness of this, and then there's some structure. This one's too loose. It has no structure. So for me, I have to have someone told me like they kind of feel like I like order in chaos, and I was like, you know what, that's the perfect way to describe my creativity. I like looseness, I like chaos, but then I have to find some sort of structure or order to it, or it just doesn't work for me. So this is nice start, but it's too much, it's too loose, it's not any structure to it, so I wouldn't call this a finished piece. I like this one a little bit more. There's more contrast in colors. I do see some structure. I don't mind leaving things finished like this, but I would probably have to go back in to like really finish it, but I do like the colors in here more. Now this one was fun. I was watching some videos on reverse coloring, and I kind of did this one was done in a while. I hate that I forgot what steps I actually took. I'm a very process-driven artist, so when I find a process that I like, I wish I could remember it, because it just makes it easier to, for me, it makes it easier to create if I have a process, even if it's a process I created like on the whim. Like if I did something, I like to try to use that same process, because that way I'm not thinking, oh, you know, what should I do? What should I paint? I realize I'm a very process-driven artist, so I can't remember exactly what I did or what paints. I know some of the paints that I used, but I can't remember all. But so yeah, I started off with watercolor, and then I know I came in with some sort of brush pen. I think it was one of my favorite brush pens, and I think I just took different layers of colors, and some of it's watercolor, some of it's neo color, some of it's like really cheap art crayons. But yeah, these are some of my favorite spreads in here. This is what I'm saying. This is what I call order in chaos. It's abstract, but there's structure to it, and I love that. And I feel like the camera's not just picking it up as great as I want to. So these are, I would call these finished pieces. Love them. I really love this one. These are some really loose abstract flowers. For me, this is done. I was just playing with colors, and again, I wish I could remember exactly which color palette I was using, because I have a lot of them. I just love these bold, bright colors and these really simple flower shapes. They were just so fun. I feel like I could do a lot of stuff with just like, I can create a lot of ideas with just these simple shapes. This page I was testing the Ganzai or Gambi or I got it. They're the granulating watercolors, and so I was testing the Aurora. So this was the Aurora Red granulating, or pink, or orange, or blue, or violet. I only really like a couple of these. Like, I wouldn't use it all at once. I would probably use this one or this one. It's kind of a bit much. Here's something I was, again, swatching the colors and just starting with it. All right, so here I was, like I said, I participated this year in Sketchbook Revival, which is a artist event where there's a lot of different guest artists that you can sign up and register to watch free art lessons. You can actually registration will start on the 9th, so tomorrow. I think you can actually register today. So I was using this page to try to generate ideas for my lesson that I was going to teach in this class. I would consider these finished pieces. These are just mixed media, so this gives you a kind of a glimpse of what I did for that class. I made some like interactive elements, so I really like these. And here was some other ones that I was preparing for that class. So usually when I'm doing this kind of stuff, when I'm preparing for an online lesson, I'm of course creating a lot of artwork in the background to see what I'm going to actually teach people. So this isn't the final, these aren't the images that you will see in the session, but you're going to see artwork like something like this in that session. And then if you sign up, so the actual Sketchbook Revival is a free when it's on live. However, if you want all of the recorded sessions, all the speakers, all the classes, because maybe you won't, maybe you're not gonna be able to see the live stream, you can go ahead and buy the recordings if you want, of all the teachers, all the lessons. And this is a class an additional class that I filmed on how to create mixed media, abstract, not watercolor, acrylic flowers using different types of unexpected materials that you have in your household. So if you sign up for the, want to purchase it and sign up, you'll get that free class from me as well. So I'll have more information about Sketchbook Revival in the description below. So just wanted to say that. Here I was practicing with some pastel pencils, and I think Jane Davenport has some pastel palette. So I was trying to practice it and using a brush pen for the finer details, trying to create these loose florals with just that. Here I'm swatching, and then that was my last page. And then I like this sketchbook because it has a pocket where I can contain any like loose bits. Okay, and so like I said, I have another one of these that I've already started. It's somewhere, can't remember where, so I'm not gonna, it's just beginning, so I'm not gonna do a flip through of that. And then I have this Fabriano. Like I said, this is real cheap. I like to cover it with stickers because why not? Stickers just are my vibe. This one's very loose. It was meant to be like a place for me to just doodle in, and so I started with just loose doodle florals with markers and ink brush. And this one was, I started just using like sticker collages. I remember which brush I used for this, and I really like the way the brush work and the flowers look. The same for these. I love these flowers. And so I like to do a lot of flowers. This was started with some, I want to say some Jane Davenport, her layer cake paints, or maybe it's gouache. It's either one. And then I didn't finish it. I was supposed to go back with a brush. I wasn't feeling the color scheme, so I guess that's why I didn't go back. Here I was practicing with some florals and some watercolors, and when I was doing this, again, this is why you need sketchbooks, because it kind of informs you. I didn't really like the result of this because it was too, I just didn't like it. And then I didn't really enjoy doing this because I started it with the black outlines, and then I tried to go back in with watercolors, and I just didn't like it because it felt too controlled, too stiff. It wasn't loose enough for me. So that kind of shapes the process of things that I didn't want to do. This is a page. I did kind of like these. I used gesso and different things. I didn't like the way this page turned out, but I do like some of the colors in here and how some of the colored pencils were turning out. So again, it's just practice. But I feel like this paper holds up really well. It's not supposed to be, like I said, this paper is meant for ink and graphite and pencil. It's not really meant for mixed media, but I like to push it. I do like these abstract pieces. These are I think these are some times I just didn't like anything, and I was just like, So like here I use pieces of like notebook or memo pads, and then did my little abstracts, and I really like how these turned out. Crazy, right? It's always the stuff that you're not really trying with that I end up liking the most. And then I just titled these something. Here's some. I'm just letting myself know what I use. I use a graphite, and this one was done with either a Chinese marker or either like a crayon poster. And this one's done with one of my favorite pens, the Pentel Pocket Brush. I really do like these. I love this pen. I love it, love it, love it, because I love these type of drawings. If I don't care about using pencil as much, I love sometimes just going in with the Pentel Pocket Brush pens. I love how they look. I love how the drawings look. I made a little style files at the time of artists of their work that I really like, and they mostly draw people or figures. And I did that because I put their names because I say that I want to do more figures, but at the same time I have an aversion to doing more figures, even though I can draw figures. It's a mental thing that I have to kind of like push myself to actually do figures. And I've been stuck in the place where I'm just doing abstract and florals. Nothing wrong with that, but I do want to actually get to figures. And so I just put down like artists that I like to try to get myself, hey, you can have a very stylized look for your figures. And I just want to become more stylized. It's funny because in college I was trying to become more realistic, and someone said, oh, you have very stylized work. And now I'm trying to get back to being more stylized, pushing it even more, but I actually do it, and I just have a hard time just starting it. Here's me practicing eyes, and I use glitter on the page, and I realized, you know what? Using glitter and fun different kind of effects craft paint, I really enjoyed that. It was fun. So I need to do more of that. I think that would push me into actually push me into figures. I was trying to stylize some eyes. I really love the way this one turned out, and I think I love the brushes that I use. Now this is what I was talking about. I think I found it with this, how I started off like really loose watercolors, like barely there colors, very scratchy, very not all there, and then I went over and defined it with my Pentel pocket brush pen. So I love the way these turned out. I love the way these turned out. I think I have a tutorial video on one of these, or maybe two of these. I really love these. So this is done with acrylic, and this is like done in this style. This is when I really started liking the sketchbook, and like I said, this was like a $5 sketchbook, but it was cheap. So I pretty much took this process, but I started with more color, and then I came back in with my Pentel pocket brush, and then on top of that I started adding shapes in the background with colored pencil and paint, which I absolutely love. So I need to do more of this because I love this. And then I was trying to do something here where I included my washi tape and scrapbook paper and different stationery supplies. I didn't like the results, but I like the idea. It's actually a gel print. Here I was doing some gel print practice, jelly plate practice, which is something I learned. I think I did a video on this as well. So here's some more jelly plate stuff. So if you want to see some videos, I think that's actually posted. Here I'm doing some collage stuff and some doodles with some gouache paint. And then I took some stickers or whatever, and then black paint kind of cover. I should do more of that too. That's kind of cool. Here's some more of my abstracts, which I like these as well. It wasn't as fun as the other one, but I do like these. And I think I was trying to create a cat here, but it wasn't turning out right. So it's like a cat hidden behind all the flowers. These colors are very loud, but I was just playing with these, and yeah. Same with these. I'm not really feeling the colors here. Okay, so I think that's pretty much yeah, that's pretty much it for this sketchbook. I still have a few pages I need to finish. I was testing out some colors and some swatches in the back. So yeah, so that is my sketchbook tour. Like I said, if you are interested in joining in Sketchbook Revival, that's going to be out. You can register for that, start registering for that tomorrow. A lot of different artists are involved, a lot of different great artists who show you how to maximize your sketchbook, have fun, play in it, experiment. There's going to be a lot of great classes. If you join the live, it's free. If you want any more information, I would love it if you would join me in this class along with other fantastic artists. You don't have to be a great artist. If you've always wanted to do art or explore art or be more creative, this would be a great opportunity for you to join in. So I'm going to leave that link in the description. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I would love it if you use my link. But yeah, feel free to let me know. And if you would enjoy more content, I'm going to post more of this kind of content eventually, because this is meant to be an art channel anyway. And I'm just not getting into it. So yeah, so thank you for joining me on my first sketchbook tour. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I will get back more into practice of creating art, so I'll have more sketchbook tours. But thanks for joining me. I hope you all have a good day. Bye.